Hello, this is Z-Man. Man, from making a full video for the complete season one doing to making pretty much the same video, but like the raw recording without the music, to now doing a director's commentary. Geez, it's almost like Bros has become my main thing on this channel. I mean, than it does way better than my reviews have done, so why not? This is pretty much. I hear my brother is talking. I have my door shut, so hopefully you guys don't hear that. But if you hear any background noise in this video, I apologize. Anyway, so yeah, this is I pretty much wanted to make this since I recently finished John Chrome's Riddle School development, whatever you call it, like a commentary. He did his own little commentary, and I know he's like a bad person who did some bad stuff, but I'm the type of person who separates art from artist, so I can still admit I love those types of things, even if the person I watched it from is not a good guy. But yeah, I watched it and I'm like, hey, I just made season one of Bros. Why not I make my own commentary for these episodes? Before I get into all that, I'm pretty much going to talk about the behind the scenes, like before the episodes, and I'm going to probably do a brief rundown of the individual episodes since they're all like shorts, so I don't think I have too much to say about a lot of them. But I do. But this is pretty much just a fun little bonus video for people who really are into Bros like that, very passionate, and want to hear more. Just you want to hear the creator's thoughts on his own series. So with that, let's begin. Bros is interesting because the cycle for it really didn't take that long for me to come up with the basic premise. Fun fact, before I even had a YouTube channel, what I used to do was I used to write in my notebook and I used to write down like episodes for these fake shows that I would make. There's a couple of them. There's like Cuckoo Hotel and the Stumps and the Malins. There's a ton of different ones. Obviously, none of them are real. I never posted them on YouTube or anything since back then my parents really didn't want me to have a YouTube account. It was really only until like a month or two before I started this channel actually got its official start that I actually kind of talked to them about really wanting to do this because I really wanted to do YouTube, and so far haven't regretted it yet. But yeah, so it's pretty much something I just kept to myself, and it's pretty much just my way of trying to like hone in my craft. But one theme that fit to a lot of my shows was that it was either about a family or it was just a group of guys being guys. Since, well, okay, I'm not the most social person. I am very much introverted, but I do have. But a lot of the shows I made were about guys kind of just being guys. That was the theme, front to back. Like obviously they're different. Since there's still I made different shows. They like had slightly different quirks to them. Like maybe they were in a hotel together or that type of thing. But like, or maybe they did all this living on. They're all kids living on a street together. But it was pretty much the same basic idea. So I knew if I was going to try to make these YouTube shorts, and I had to make them about a central series, I knew what my basic theme is going to be. And yeah, that's pretty much what Bros is. Something I love about doing Bros is that, like, I can see some people being like, oh man, there's virtually no story here. Why get invested? But I like to view Bros as like a comic strip or some, because that's kind of what I refer to Bros as, because it's kind of like Peanuts or Garfield, where yeah, sure, maybe each thing's like some individual thing, and there's not a ton going on, but like since it is still mostly meant to be like a comedy thing, but hey, like I think you can still find some attachment to those types of characters and like that type of world. I mean, my all-time favorite show is The Simpsons, and that show obviously is not known for having like deep continuity or anything. So yeah, Bros was pretty much that's pretty much Bros' start. I knew right from the get go I wanted to make a show about the bros, just being the bros and being the guys. It also took me not that long to make the characters for Bros. Pretty much, I for the utensils I used to draw the shorts, I had 12 colors, and as I had used the two green ones for the sole purpose of just writing down the little bros thing. the little Bros by Z-Man you see at the start of all of them. Yeah, that's pretty much just what I use them for, at least for Bro. So I knew I wanted to give all of the other 10, because I have 12 overall. I wanted all the other 10 to be dedicated to actually drawing a specific character. Like, okay, this character will be this color, this character will be that color. Pretty much just as a way, so that way, even if it's like, oh, okay, I don't know this guy's name because this is like, because I'm just drawing out, I could be like, hey, it's that guy, or hey, it's that bro. I know you from the color. Actually, you know what? Here, hold on. Wearing a cool little Mario shirt. I have all the characters with me right now from that little thing I used for Bros A, 0A, and 0B, which, by the way, I'm not going to talk about since I don't consider those. They weren't in the Bros as season 1 thing, because they aren't official Bros episodes. They're really more of just someone pitching their show. Well, they're not real episodes, but I'm using the thing from it to talk about the characters briefly. Oh my god, it's so bright on here. You can't even see it. Okay, I'm going to stop with all that. Again, it wasn't that difficult for me to come up with the characters, since, again, it's kind of to be like a Peanuts or Simpsons kind of thing, where it's like, hopefully the characters are, yeah, they may be basic, but hopefully it's the right type of basic, to where it's like, some of my favorite fictional characters of all time are characters like Homer Simpson, Daffy Duck, Roger from American Dad, like characters that I feel like you can fit into almost any situation and they can be good in it because they're so well rounded. I hope that at least most, if not all, of the Bros are kind of like that. Though, then again, I've just started out, so hopefully, I pray I'm gonna get better as I go along. I don't want season 1 to be when Bros peak. So in terms of a basic, I pretty much, it took me literally a day to come up with all of the main 10. And just going in order, Isaac, I knew right from the get-go I needed. Isaac, a character like Isaac, I think is very needed and very useful for this type of thing, because admittedly, we all need the normal character. Family Guy has its Brian, South Park has its Stan. We need someone who's a bit more sane, who can still make jokes and all that. Isaac isn't like a completely annoying, like overly strict guy, but like he's the more, like, we need a character like him to kind of like be the glue that holds all the wackiness together. I hope later on I can develop more unique personality traits for him, because I understand that his current state, he isn't like the most fleshed out or anything, but like hopefully as it goes on, I'll get more in tune with it and they'll be better written. Next up, we got Dawn. Pretty much his whole character, he's very simple. I like to think that okay, so the Peanuts creator, man, I'm bringing up Peanuts a lot, huh? Can you tell me my favorite comic strip is? Of like the very few comic strips I've ever read in my whole life. Charles Schultz, the creator of Peanuts, once said that like all of the characters are like a different side to him. And I like to think that that's kind of just how we as people like make media. Like, in a way, they're kind of like different points of us. They're kind of like extensions of us. And that's what I like to view the Bros as, kind of just different versions of me and my quirks. Isaac is my more rational side. Dawn, whom I'm going to be talking about next, is my more introverted side. Pretty much, if I was smart and was able to like make machines and stuff, but just had the actual part of me that's real, that's where I'm bad talking to people. Hopefully you've seen my videos. You'll know what I'm talking about when I say I'm bad at talking about things, especially if you're trying to see me review some season of a show. Well, man, that gets rough, especially early on. Mac is kind of like the Cartman or the Master Shake of the series. I think a character like him is needed. Not saying every show needs one, because like, again, Simpsons is my favorite show, and they don't really have this type of character unless you maybe want to count Bart, but I don't really see it. But Mac is kind of that character for me. He's not like meant to be overly. I wouldn't call Mac straight up evil, but I would say he's definitely just kind of, he's a jerk. He's a dick. I'm just going to be blunt there. So, but he's also not like completely awful. Again, with only like 10 shorts, feels like I've been doing this for a while, but it really hasn't. But if we're only looking at Bros, it's only been like, how many shorts? It hasn't been a lot. Only 10 per season. Next up is Crazy Connor. Crazy Connor is interesting because I actually made a show back and earlier in the video when I said that like I used a notebook and made up like fake shows that I made. One of them was called Crazy Connor and started this crazy guy. And so I already had the name and pretty much how he acted in that show is how he acts here. He's very insane, very loony. I decided to add some stuff, like the fact he can. Oh, I wrote down that he can break reality and all that, but it hasn't happened that much yet. I'll hopefully I'll be able to come up with some funny ideas and incorporate that later. But for now, just know he's definitely has some screws loose. So Silent J is another character I used to use a bit for my show. Is a his shtick is pretty simple. I think having a mute character like that could be funny, especially since we saw in one of the episodes that he can like. I think in Chilling with the Bros, it's established that like you can read his thought bubbles, but I don't actually read them because I'm not giving him a voice. Because what is he going to do? Talk? Wallace is this. See, after like I made the first five, this is with these final fives where it got a bit more like random with it with some of a few of these, simply because to do more, I guess. Just why not? Wallace, admittedly, I've only used once, and is probably the character I'm so far from the projection. He's probably going to be the character I use the least because I don't have a ton of ideas for him right now. Well, but his whole shtick is that he's just the old dude. Why not? We have all these bros. Maybe we'll get like an older bro. So with all the old men watching the show can have a character they identify with. So yeah, not a ton to say about him so far. Belson, I mostly just came up with because I liked the character design idea. Just hey, why not have like a ball? Because all my characters are stick figures, but purely because I'm bad at drawing, and not because I have a real love for stick figures or anything. I mean, I did watch the web series Sticks a lot as a child, so maybe I just got influenced by Sticks. Who knows? But yeah, Belson, thought his character design seemed cool, so that's pretty much his basis. Quincy, now Quincy's interesting. Originally, he was going to be called Ted. If you see in Bros Zero B, his original name is obviously crossed out and replaced with Quincy. Originally, he was going to be Ted. I'm not sure if you people have noticed, but each of the main 10, pretty much the 10, all have a different letter as their first name. Like Isaac is I, Don is D, so on and so forth. And I just kind of came up with Ted because, like, why not? It seemed I didn't have a T character, but towards the end, right before I started filming, I decided just to quickly call him Quincy since I thought that'd be a better name. Plus, I like Q. I like using more obscure letters. But yeah, Quincy's little shtick, he's kind of like the Meg or the Butters. He's the one you feel bad for, but he's such a good guy. Like, you feel bad for the poor fella, but it's also like, yeah, you just feel bad for him. Definitely a very rootable character. Elmer, I don't have a ton to say about his character right now. Is also pretty simple, and I hope to come up with more ideas to help flesh him out, make him more interesting later on. But for now, he pretty much is just bossy. And honestly, he seems like even more of a jerk than Mac, honestly, which is really saying something because Mac's kind of meant to be the jerk character. And rounding out the cast, we have Felix, who pretty much is just Isaac's best friend. Again, haven't done much with him yet, but I am hoping in season 2 I get to show off more of who Felix really is. Him and Isaac are best friends, and they're both two of the more normal members of the group, but I want Felix to be a bit more like meaner. Like Isaac's kind of just a normal guy, and Felix is like a normal guy with a bit of who's not afraid to like speak his mind or be overly nasty if like if a situation's really going down, Well, so yeah, that's the main 10. Again, didn't take me that long to come up with each of them, but I think it's cool just to go over the characters and see like what inspired me or whatever. Really wasn't even about that really because there was nothing to be inspired from. These are just character ideas I thought seemed good and seemed like all 10 of these characters together could really carry something like this. So, and now that that's all done, time to talk about the episodes, all 10 of them. Can you even call these episodes? Okay, they're either episodes, shorts, or strips, comic strips, not the naughty strips. Whatever you want to call them, there's 10 of them. And like I already mentioned, there isn't a ton to go over with this, so but I will try to give all the insight I can into my thought process behind making each of these. Hopefully hopefully it'll be entertaining. With one, we have the party. Okay, so when I first came up with Bros, obviously I had a couple of different ideas, and this was one of them. And at random, I kind of decided just to make this the first one. It doesn't do admittedly, it doesn't do a lot for a first episode, but it is. I think it still works. It pretty much just shows off Isaac and Dawn, since they're the first two I wrote down, the first two I really thought up. So well, I mean, I guess it's good, especially since you've watched like Bros Zero first, and then you properly then got to the show proper. Seeing these two, it's like, oh, it can give you the impression that, oh yeah, maybe these are the main bros out of all these bros, it just be bros. Bros. But yeah, not a ton to say. It demonstrates some of the character traits well. Isaac's chill. Obviously, he'd be the kind of throw a party casually, but he's also still a decently nice enough person. So of course, he'd still try to invite Dawn, but Dawn is so introverted that it's like he ain't doing it. He ain't participating. No. 2, getting a helping hand. This was another idea I randomly thought. Most of these are going to be random ideas I think up, and that'll probably be the structure that Bros is going to be. Just what is Z-Man randomly thinking of now? Introducing more characters, which is kind of what I wanted to do with a lot of these early ones. Still trying to be funny, but like also trying to establish each of them. We see Mac a little bit, but it's really mostly Elmer getting highlighted and Silent J getting screwed over because he can't talk. RIP for Silent J's free time having to help Elmer. And of course, I also established Elmer loving soda, which is pretty much just like a random thing I decided to give him because I wanted him to at least have something, anything other than being bossy, so that way he isn't just like completely one dimensional. He's still not the greatest yet, but at least he has that going from. 3, bowl me to victory. Okay, so for this one, that opening shot with like the bowling pins, it was me trying to like. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I mentioned it in the Zero. Oh my god, I keep mentioning the Zeros. I feel like I keep mentioning the same stuff. So I do, of course, apologize if this is getting repetitive or boring for you, but pretty much with this episode, Bowl Me to Victory, part of the reason I even started doing comics in the first place was simply because I wanted to test my own art skills. So trying to draw those bowling pins in the beginning of it was really like okay, can I do this? And can I have the bowling ball, can at least somewhat look like you can see the bowling ball going to the pins. And I think I did a fine job. I was clearly trying to push myself as an artist, which is, again, part of this. I'm trying to push myself, seeing what type of shots I can make. We see Isaac and Felix hanging out, to pretty much establishing their friendship. Felix casually uses Quincy's head. Obvious punchline being, he isn't using Belson, even though Belson's a ball. Not a ton to say here other than more character establishments. 4, Teleporter 4000. Okay, so there's a bit of a story behind this one. The idea of calling the Teleporter 4000 is 2 reasons. One, first of all, 4000 because it's episode 4, so I thought that'd be a little fun thing. And second of all, the idea of a Teleporter 4000 is something I thought up actually all the way back in like 4th grade. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 4th grade in my elementary class. We had to come up with like an idea and all that. And my idea was Teleporter 4000. I remember before that I originally came up with the idea of doing like a free store, a store where everything's free. So like, why would you even need to rob? It was childish, but I was a literal child when I come up with these ideas. So the only thing though is that for a free store, I kind of realized I'd have to make like a sign or something because you obviously couldn't just make an entire store. And I was an idiot. I'm still an idiot. So what was I gonna do? Well, I can barely even draw. What am I gonna do? Am I gonna make a diorama of a free store? No. I just came up with Teleporter 4000. I used a Nike box, even though my family isn't even that poor. As you can see by the stuff behind me. Yeah, I'm not a poor person. So yeah, it was a whole thing. It was a whole mess, but it was so fun, and I've always thought about it. So I'm happy I at least used it. I can use that idea in my work, even if the Teleporter 4000 and Bros looks nothing like the one I made because it's not a Nike box. So beyond that, I mean, I wanted it. I wanted Don to like right from the beginning. I wanted Don to make machines and all that. So I thought this would be a funny way to use it. And again, I wanted to test myself, like making Don look all messed up, but to try to keep it somewhat consistent within each frame. And then, of course, also establishing Crazy Connor because another again more character introductions. 5. The end of week 1. Since each season is technically 2 different weeks of 5 episodes, I guess you can call this 1A and then the second half 1B if you want, because they're made 2 different weeks. But I don't know, do that if you want. In the thumbnail for the complete video, I just put week 1 and week 2 just to like let you know which is which, but it doesn't really matter what you identify them as. But yeah, episode 5, if you give a Mac a cookie, yeah. Okay, so this episode brought up a real question when Quincy casually brought up that scientists made a recovery machine. So technically, for episode 4, Quincy was dead. We weren't going to be able to see him at all. This episode, the recovery machine in general is obviously it lets you know I was an OSC kid because obviously I watched stuff like BFDI and Anime Insanity, and obviously they always had recovery centers. So I pretty much just straight up rip them off. I'm not even being original with that. I'm just taking what they're doing. It's pretty much my way of like letting the characters die and stuff like that, but like not, but still letting there be chances for continuity without it being overly weird. So yeah, just if I ever make any more character deaths, just note that there's a recovery machine that can just bring them back to life, so they can still remember the events of past stuff. Pretty much, this episode was more character development. I wanted to really show both off Mac and Quincy really well. I might make more stuff with them as a duo because this is honestly one of my favorite episodes from season 1. I have a blast whenever I casually rewatch my own episodes. This is one I really like looking at because it's so good, man. It's one of the ones I'm most proud of. Because I think it's not just absurd comedy. The comedy is more character based, and that's the type of comedy I prefer and the type of comedy I want to make. I'm the type of person who prefers American Dad over Family Guy. I'm clearly the type of person who prefers absurdist character humor over just absurdist. Remember the time? So yeah, we get to see Quincy being being a pushover, and Mac being pretty self-centered. I'm proud of it. I think it was pretty good. Heading into week 2, we got shown with the bros. This was me trying to make a longer thing since obviously these are shorts. And you can make these up to like 3 minutes. So I was like, okay, for week 1, I took a break in the weekend because by the time I was towards the end of week 1, I was getting really tired. So we got that weekend off, which will be a recurring thing. Hence why there weren't any shorts made today. But I gotta make for week 2. I want to at least do something that took a bit more time. And it's true, it definitely took a bit more time. I'm pretty sure the final product is like a minute long. I'm pretty sure it's under a minute, which is better than like the usual 30 seconds. I don't have a lot to say about this one though, admittedly. It's where I came up with the idea of Silent J using the text bubbles to like let you know what he's thinking, so that way we can always do a bit more with this character. And of course, the joke is that he really doesn't like the rest of the bros, but he can't really do anything about it since he can't talk. I know it's not that original of a joke, but I thought it was funny when I drew it. And of course, seeing Elmer and Crazy Connor interact, which again I think is also a really good character pairing idea. I kind of want to see if I could do more with that in the future. Hey man, unironically, someone has made Bros fan art. I can't. Some person who I'm actually very close with made Bros fan art, and it was awesome. And it was of Crazy Connor, and it was when the Teleporter 4000 episode came out, and it was freaking fantastic. I need to find a way to show off the fan art because it is so good, so high quality too. It's like, damn, you're a fan of my stupid drawings, and but yet you can draw like that, like bro. I'm like down here, and it's like, why aren't you making your own animated series, bro? Because you're up here, bro. So yeah, shout out to you if you're watching this video. Well, not much to say otherwise though, hence why I decided to dedicate to that one person. Was 1 weekend and already got my first piece of fan art. That felt awesome. That felt truly amazing. 7. Wallace's words of wisdom. It was at this point that I realized that okay, all of the characters have been introduced except for Wallace. So this was kind of my idea of doing that. And I also decided to do Belson since he also hasn't got done much yet. So this is pretty much my way of trying to use 2 more of the lesser used characters and trying to do a bit more with them. And also, Belson wanting to work out is due to an idea I have had for the series that I'm not going to spoil since I do plan to continue with it. But yeah, this is my way of kind of starting off Belson's thing that he'll hopefully continue to have throughout the show. And also try to show off Wallace. Now he pretty much just is an old man. Bro acting like he had dementia and stuff. By the end, he was quoting Yogi Bear and Fat Albert in the same thing. And it's like, bro, you are not him. Not much to say with this one. I'm pretty sure it wasn't that popular. People weren't that into this one. But then again, it's YouTube Shorts. It's all random. 8. Wait, no, actually, before I get to episode 8, there's actually one more thing I want to bring up with this one. Okay, so I'm looking at this now, and originally Wallace was cyan, but Dawn was dark blue. And I only realized that like a few days ago, and I was like, oh, wait, dude, really? And as it turns out, in episode 1, The Party, Dawn totally was dark blue, but in Teleporter 4000 his next appearance, I think I just used cyan and didn't even realize it. So, well, you know what? I decided, hey, Dawn, at this point, I already drew him cyan like a few times now. At this point, it's just Wallace and Dawn has just swapped colors now. Now Wallace is the dark blue character. Hope you guys are okay with that. I know you bro sticklers out there who totally exist aren't just a fragment of my imagination. Really care about this. So you know I'm here to like lay it down and let you know the situation. Now on to episode 8, workout sesh. Again, kind of like with if you give a Mac a cookie, where Quincy explained the recovery machine since he like died earlier on. I want bros to be like a semi-serialized thing. Like there could be some serialization going on here and there, and like some stuff could be remembered from past episodes. But obviously a lot of it, especially in season 1, is just random stuff. But yeah, I decided, hey, I want to do this. Want to continue Belson trying to work out. And I threw Mac in because he's probably one of my favorite characters so far. I really like writing for him. Not much to say with this one either, admittedly, but I did think it was pretty fun. I remember for the scene where Belson went into Mac, I tried to draw it so that way, it looked like Belson was directly hitting Mac. And honestly, for my standards, I think it came out decently. I was kind of proud of it. Like, oh wow, hey, I was able to do this. So yeah, pretty nice. So 9, Cup of Joe. Another random idea I had that I decided to just be funny. I wanted to use one of the green colors for a character since I didn't really use them. By the way, I've been heavily debating if I should use the green colors for more than just spelling out bros at the beginning of every short. Would you guys be like chill if I like made 2 new characters using those colors? Like, I think it would be cool. I think it would be as much as I already love the cast. I don't want to make it seem like this guy's already run out of ideas with these 10 characters. I think it'd just be cool to have 2 new characters and give myself like more opportunities, you know. But like, if you guys are like, no, that's lame, man, then it's like, okay, whatever. I was just a dummy, I guess. But yeah, I know. Other than that, this is a pretty basic one. Another time where I hadn't made a really tough shot where like I wanted to show Isaac's mouth and like had to have Joe go into it. The cup looks horrible. And Isaac got that Pac-Man mouth going on, but other than that, I think it turned out as well as I could have possibly made it. I do regret shading in Isaac's mouth though, since Isaac's face and all the characters' faces are like you see through. So why is his mouth? I guess his lips I'd get, but no, I drew like obviously beyond that. So that was just dumb on my part. I wasn't thinking about that. And 10 Isaac Party. For this one, pretty much this is an idea I had for a while, but I think for every season finale, I'm gonna do like a Mario parody or of something. More so the spin-off titles. And hey, why not Mario Party? That and Mario Kart are obviously the two big ones, and I thought since Mario Party has like more stuff, I could like make more sketches about them. I'll probably try to do them in chronological order. So you'd be yeah, for the first one, I thought it'd be cool to take these characters that I've made and try to put them in, try to make them weird stuff from other like characters from media. I guess in terms of the character choices, Isaac is Mario since they're both like the normal ones and kind of the leads. I almost was thinking about making a Felix Luigi, but Felix isn't really the type of guy who'd really be like Luigi. Luigi's more cowardly and all that. So I thought of Don, and hey, why not? Don is kind of like the second character to Isaac being the first character I established, so that'd be kind of cool. Belson's Toad because they're both midgets, and I made Quincy Princess Peach because I thought it would be kind of funny. And hey, why not? You know what? Let Quincy dress like a woman if he wants. It's actually 2026. You cannot like be mad that a man wants to dress like a woman. What is wrong with you? And then for my Donkey Kong, it's actually a crossover from my other comic, Silly Tunes. So it's pretty much just that. I took that character from the first Silly Tunes comic I made and decided just to put him in here and make him Donkey Kong because it's funny. And yes, Silly Tunes and Bros are the same universe, by the way, in case any of you were wondering. They look the exact same. So, I mean, it'd be stupid if I tried to act like they're two completely different worlds or take myself too seriously with that type of thing. Next time, for my 20th episode, I probably won't do another Isaac. I probably won't do another Isaac Blank. Oh my god. I am going to do that, but I'm probably going to do like Mario Kart or maybe a different spin-off. And then with episode 30, I'll do the second Isaac Party, and then I'll go back and forth on it. Going to get a shout out to the one person who's been watching the stream for like most of it now. I was so worried you're going to turn off the live the whole time, but no, you're still the one person watching it. You've been there for me, bro, and thank you so much. Before I want to end the video, though, I want to quickly state that, like, how freaking happy I am that I'm making Bros in general. If you couldn't obviously tell, I'm a horrible artist, but the fact I've made something that already 2 of the videos I've made have gotten over 1,000 views, that's freaking insane. When I first dropped Bros 0A, and I saw people that already was getting so many views, and it very quickly became the most viewed thing on my channel, and I was like, say what? It was insane to me, but in a good way. I felt people actually wanted to hear my voice. Like something I made actually mattered. And I wasn't just reviewing stuff that other people made. I actually got to like make my own thing, inspired by the content I want to make. And it's really made me a happier person overall. Because now I've been thinking about Bros and Silly Tunes nonstop, thinking about like new characters for Silly Tunes and for Bros, like new ways to use these characters, trying to make them more interesting, but also still keeping it funny. I really do want season 2 of Bros to be even better than season 1. It'll probably be more of a gradual thing since like I'm not going to instantly improve my art between seasons 1 and 2, but like I want to keep trying to make it as the best I can, even with my limited abilities. And I seriously appreciate anyone who's even watched the video up to this point. I want to see someone being like, I've never watched Bros, but I watched this because IDK, and this guy's taking these stupid stick figures so seriously. I'm going to be like, I'm sure I am, bro. I sure am. Oh my god, wait, am I starting to cry? Oh my god, I'm so embarrassing. I'm sorry, this means a lot to me. I've always been trying to make content I used to have a TikTok, but they were cringe, and I hope they've been lost to time. And I've just been always wanting to be making content, but it always turned out stupid. But with the Bros, it feels like I'm starting to get it just right. Since obviously I'm 17, I'm all mature now, but like hopefully Bros can keep on trucking for as long as I can until I get like a more professional show. Who knows? The future right now does look bright for Isaac and crew though, so I'll see you guys next time. And I'll see you guys in the next developer commentary.